A security source reported that fuel tanks at the commercial port of Duqm were targeted by the several drones, one of which struck a fuel tank. The resulting damage was contained and no casualties were reported. The Sultan of Oman condemns the attack and affirms that it is taking all necessary measures to address the incidents. In light of the observed increase in posting and engagement on social media platforms, which is in violation of the law, and based on the public prosecution's responsibility to enforce the provisions of the criminal laws, the public prosecution calls on the public to act responsibly online, urging social media users to refrain from filming, publishing, or sharing any videos, images, or information related to incidents, locations, or facilities, or any content that could disrupt public order or incite panic among members of society. The public prosecution stresses that publishing or republishing rumors and unreliable information will subject the perpetrators to legal accountability. Several Gulf Cooperation Council countries have reported new Iranian attacks. Kuwait's Army General of Staff confirmed the martyrdom of 2 personnel while on duty. In Saudi Arabia, the Ministry of Defense said 2 drones targeted the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh's diplomatic quarter, causing a minor fire. Authorities added that air defenses intercepted 8 drones near the capital Riyadh and the city of Al-Kharj. Separately, Qatar's Ministry of Defense said its air defense intercepted 2 ballistic missiles of different areas of the country. The United Arab Emirates said it dealt with a salvo ballistic missiles launched from Iran and contained on the fire that broke out in Al Fujairah petroleum industries area as a result of falling drone debris. U.S.-Israeli airstrikes continue across several Iranian cities as Iranian media reported more than 13 deaths following explosions in the capital Tehran as well as in Yazd and Isfahan. Military sites southeast of Tehran were targeted in what officials described as a wave of strikes aimed at ballistic missiles bases and air defense systems. Iran also said its Natanz nuclear facility was hit in the attacks. Separately, the Iranian Red Crescent said more than 780 people have been killed across the country since the beginning of the U.S.-Israeli attacks. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, confirmed recent damage to buildings at the entrance of Iran's Natanz underground nuclear fuel enrichment facility following Israeli and U.S. airstrikes. The agency added that no radioactive fallout is expected and no further impacts were detected at the facility, which was severely damaged during the June 2025 war. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said today that Moscow had still seen no evidence that Iran was developing nuclear weapons as the U.S. and Israeli pursue the attack. He said the consequences of the attack on the Iran were being felt throughout the region and that Arab countries were bearing economic costs and suffering casualties. He reiterated Russia's call for an immediate cessation of hostilities by all parties. Iranian missile and drone attacks continued against Israeli military and security centers in Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem. Israeli media outlets reported that air raid sirens sounded across Israel over 40 consecutive minutes due to the Iranian missiles. Explosions were heard in Tel Aviv and Haifa, while falling missile debris injured 1 person and caused significant material damage in Tel Aviv. Israeli forces are conducting operations along parts of the Lebanese border, according to the Lebanese official. This comes as Israel launched new airstrikes on the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The strikes targeted the Hadath area and Al-Manar television building in the city's southern suburbs. The Israeli army said it struck Hezbollah command centers and weapons depots in Beirut and issued new evacuation warnings for dozens of villages and towns in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah later announced that it had launched drones targeting an Israeli airbase. U.S. Central Command announced that the number of American service members killed in operations against Iraq has risen to 6 after 2 previously unreported bodies were recovered. In a statement, the command said the remains were found at a facility that had been targeted during Iran's initial airstrikes in the region. Officials did not disclose the exact location of the site or provide further details about circumstances surrounding the deaths. The latest update brings the confirmed U.S. military death toll higher as tensions between Washington and Tehran continue to escalate. Back here in the Sultan, the Ministry of Agricultural, Fisheries and Water Resources, in cooperation with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, launched a Fisheries Resources Survey, a project in the Arabian Sea and the Sea of Oman. More in the following report.
Oman's marine resources are central to national food supply and economic activity. To ensure these resources are managed on sound scientific foundations, the Ministry of Agriculture, Wealth, Fisheries and Water Resources inaugurated a comprehensive survey project to assess fisheries resources across the Arabian Sea and the Sea of Oman.
This project actually is one of the main national fisheries projects in Oman, and it's aligned with the efforts of ministry to attain the sustainability of fisheries resources and achieving also the targets of Oman Vision 2040. Through this project, we will determine the biomass available from our main economical or commercial fish stock, and then we also determine the sustainable yield that can be harvested from these sustainable resources or from these resources.
Conducted in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the initiative will generate precise data on fish biomass, stock levels of key commercial species, and their distribution within Omani waters.
This project, this specific part of the project, is aiming at looking at the resources, the distribution and abundance of key resources, fishery resources in the Sea of Oman and also the Arabian Sea. Looking at using the instruments available on the research vessel Dr. Fridtjof Nansen. So the whole idea is to do the research that you can provide through a research vessel, and then later on that will be combined with other information that we obtain from fisheries so that we can provide advice for fisheries management.
The results will support the establishment of a broad national database for fisheries management and evidence-based policy making. The initiative is expected to boost marine biodiversity protection and open new investment opportunities in the sector. By investing in this strategic project, the Sultanate of Oman reinforces its commitment to safeguarding marine wealth and ensuring sustainable fisheries for future generations. Reporting from Muscat, this is Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
Muscat Stock Exchange celebrated the listing of the Oman Gateway Fund with a capital of approximately 27 million Oman riyals. More in the following report.
With a capital of approximately 27 million Omani Riyals, the Oman Gateway Fund has been listed on the Muscat Stock Exchange. It is the first mutual investment fund in the Sultanate of Oman that combines the characteristics of open-end funds with the flexibility of real-time trading. This fund provides various investors with a professionally managed and diversified investment tool that allows them to benefit from this pivotal stage in the evolution of the Omani capital market.
Oman Gateway Fund is a new milestone to MSX after a series of IPOs that happened in the market, a new instrument that came to the market. So it's a good time to have a fund that will diversify the investment into a specialized investment vehicle that will allow investors to gain an overall performance of Muscat Stock Exchange.
The Oman Gateway Fund represents an important step in deepening the Omani capital market and enhancing the diversity of investment instruments. It also contributes to increasing liquidity levels, improving pricing efficiency, and expanding the investor base, further solidifying the position of Muscat Stock Exchange as an organized and transparent market that supports efficient capital allocation and keeps pace with ongoing developments in the market structure.
We were in United Securities. We were happy to announce that we are closed the fund around 27 million Riyal Omani, which is big support from our investor to the MSX. And what happened in MSX, as we know, the growth which is there, the fund can be good support to the market and enhance the performance of the market.
We have collected 26.8 million Riyal Omani, almost 27 million Riyal. We had almost more than 1,000 investors from retail to institution to the pension funds, which I think this is a good number for the mutual fund.
During the past year, Muscat Stock Exchange witnessed a noticeable and sustained increase in both daily trading values and volumes. The continuous improvements in the market governance and liquidity levels also enhances the prospects of listing the Sultanate of Oman with emerging market indices, which will contribute to attracting significant capital flows.
You're watching the Sultan of Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan receives 2 telephone calls from President of Kazakhstan and Prime Minister of the Republic of India, during which they discussed the latest developments in the military escalation in the region. The Sultan of Oman expressed his sincere condolences to the state of Kuwait on the martyrdom of 2 of his army personnel and affirmed his solidarity and support for all measures taken by the state of Kuwait to preserve its sovereignty and maintain its security. A security source confirms that 2 drones were shot down in the airspace of the Far Governorate, and a 3rd crashed near the port of Salalah, and the fuel tanks at the commercial port of Duqm were targeted by a number of drones. And US-Israeli attacks on Iran continue, and Israel and Hezbollah exchange fire as tensions escalate in the region. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all the crew here and myself, Suhail Al-Kindi, thanks for your time. Good night.